we're here. NAMM Week has arrived, Anaheim, California. We are at the Grand Theater in Orange County, just down the street from the NAMM convention, and we're trying to grab a word with some of the inductees here tonight. I got my buddy Shane behind the camera over here, and looking to talk to a lot of the KNAC veterans that made rock and metal, made it possible for Southern California. So stay tuned. A lot of cool interviews coming up soon.
It's truly an incredible feeling experiencing one of my dreams unfolding, becoming reality before my very eyes. Sometimes I pay attention to my precognitions, but I never expected this honor to be bestowed upon me. I literally have been living in the state of euphoria ever since I learned about this nomination to the Metal Hall of Fame. That's right. I have been an artist my entire life, and I have been very fortunate.
What a tape.
Of course, as a guitar player. I've been very fortunate to live my life through creativity for the past 35 years. To choose the life of an artist is a voluntary choice towards the path of most resistance. Much like Sisyphus pushing up the boulder up the mountain, or Icarus spreading his wax wings to fly beneath the sun, the life of an artist can be frustrating and disheartening. It's the process of creativity that offers purpose to my life. Creation is an addiction to me. Much like other vices where you rise and feel the high, or when you fall and crash and burn, I'm always chasing that fucking dragon. It is not the fame, infamy, adoration, or disdain that drives most of us. It is that beautiful hit of dopamine that we all experience when our creativity is blossoming into creation. This is what has always driven me. In every medium or media I choose to create within, striving for greatness in my own art, always evolving in my pursuit for a daunting perfection to reflect who I am through art, music, and words. To honor the artists whom I look up to, and living that reflection of their work is what life is all about. Without art, my life would be nothing. And I'd like to thank my wife, Sherry, who has been my light and saving grace through the high times and the dark times. I'd like to thank my management of Jason Rudolph and Vaughn Lewis at Unchained HQ for having the strength to believe in me. The excellent group of humans that I have surrounded myself with as my band, Henrik, Tony, Junior, and Corey, for placing their faith in me and my new chapter. I'd like to thank the Metal Hall of Fame, Pat Casaldo, especially Pamela Parks, for considering me the honor of the induction list. I'd like to thank everyone who voted for me for this honorable induction list. And I'd like to thank my mother, who has been the driving force for my love in art and music my entire life. Without music, life is nothing. Thank you.
I'm here with Burton C. Class of 2025 Metal Hall of Fame inductee. How you doing?
I am actually really good right now, yeah.
Yeah, a really good, heartfelt speech that you gave out there today.
Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. When I was told about this nomination, they said, "Oh, you got 1 to 2 minutes for your acceptance speech." I'm like, a speech? So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna write a speech. And I thought about it for a while, and this is what I came up with. And you got to say something from the heart, and that's how I roll.
Yeah.
either it's a speech or my lyrics. I roll from the heart.
Very, very cool. Nominated for your great work with Ascension of the Watchers, Fear Factor, your solo work.
GCR.
And what do you have going on? What's coming up for you?
Well, as you know, I've been working on new music. Released 3 songs over the past year. Du Hast, which was done on Cleopatra. I did my solo song called Anti-Droid. I did a song called Technical Exorcism. I have a new song coming out pretty shortly called, shortly, in a couple months, but it's called Savages. Okay. And another song called Cold Lazarus.
Awesome.
So I got a band. We've been writing music together.
Okay.
And it feels great to be working with, band that you can work with. And
right.
That camaraderie, I've missed that so much.
The camaraderie is, I think, really important, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And when you all have the same goal in mind of what you want to achieve with music, that's what's most important.
Totally. Very cool, very cool. And you are from the LA area?
Well, I lived here. I moved here in 1989.
89. That makes you an Angelino.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I'm originally born and raised in Texas, Houston.
Right on.
But I moved here from Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Apparently, my mom says that when I told her I was moving out to L.A., she's like, "You told me that you were coming out here for your fame and fortune. Look what happened." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I got some fame, but not so much fortune."
Fortune could be measured in different ways,
That is absolutely true, my friend. I'm fortunate in many other ways than monetary existence.
Your voice was really one of a kind of unique that really set a tone for a lot of things that came after.
Thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah, and still to the day, I feel like you guys were such a huge influence in what you guys are doing ahead of the time. I will even say. But congrats. More than deserved of being in the Hall of Fame.
Dude, thank you for recognizing that. I'm absolutely grateful that you said that.
And of course. And any stories about KNAC? Because KNAC used to play you guys a lot, especially nights when the heavy stuff was playing.
Yeah, all my stories with KNAC revolve around Will.
Yeah, DJ Will showing up.
We're running into him just like Hollywood all the time. Yeah. Because we used to roll around in Hollywood, and that's how you used to roll. And going down, being invited on Solo New Machine and Demanufacture, being invited down to KNAC down in Long Beach, and Dino and I driving down in my 1972 Carbon Ghia to do an interview on KNAC at 12 midnight.
Awesome, hell yeah, dude.
That was good times, man.
Hell yeah. Well, we appreciate you, Burton C. Class of 2025 Metal Hall of Fame. Congratulations again, and thank you for taking the time to talk to KNAC.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I'm here again, still not Doyle. Thank you. I mean, I prefer this. Okay. All right. So, I really want to thank you guys for this. I think we all come to metal for different reasons, and the metal community is such an interesting thing because across the entire globe, across dozens and dozens of countries, I can still spot a metalhead in the street like it's nobody's business. And so thank you for being a part of this, and to get this award from this community especially is so important to me. When I first started singing, there was no other women in my local scene and almost no other women singing metal in the global scene, and especially not women doing death vocals. And it hasn't been easy. I had a lot of people that did not believe in me, but I kept going because I love it. And and so I want to tell you ladies who are here that your voices matter, and if somebody doesn't listen, just fucking say it louder for the people in the back. Speak loud. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank my arch enemy family, of course, and my amazing supportive family and friends, especially my Beastlings community. These are my closest fans that I know on a first name basis who support everything that I do and make it possible for me to continue doing out-of-the-box collaborations and writing out-of-the-box songs and making music videos in my living room and things like that. So, so thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Gentlemen, we have a very, very, very special way to wrap up the 2025 Metal Hall of Fame. Obviously, obviously, so much love still, deservedly so, for the legend, Mr. Dimebag Darrell. Give him a round of applause so he hears you way up in heaven. Let's come on, some noise, man. The man's legacy is more than alive and well, and one of the reasons for that is this wonderful lady right here, his widow. Give it up, everybody, for Dimebagz Hag, and she told me to say it that way. I'm not being disrespectful, I never would. Give it up for Rita, everybody.
Thank you guys. I don't have to tell you crazy fuckers how versatile Darrell was when it came to music. He loved all genres, but heavy metal was always in his heart. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Rita, I think you need Cathy. Can you come out? Because Rita shouldn't leave just yet, right? Maybe we have something for Rita, right?
And I just thought it was only fitting tonight to present you with your own Metal Hall of Fame award. Yes!
Oh, wow. Right on.
From one manager to another. It meant a lot to do this. I have a story to tell. Real quick.
So, there are the greats, and there are the graders. And the people behind the great people push the great people up. Rita has been keeping the legacy, the awesomeness, the amazingness of Dimebag alive, metal alive, from his legacy to Black Tooth Grin, which I love. So, well deserved, well due. Please give it up for Rita.
Class of 2024, Billy from Biohazard, last year's inductees. He's here today, 2025, at the Metal Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Tell us who you got to induct.
So I had the honor of inducting Rita. So Rita, and I said it actually kind of got fucked up, the schedule. Like there was a whole plan on how we were going to do this. It was supposed to be a surprise and all these things. And Nick Bocott, I don't know if you know who that is, but Google him. Not just Marshall, but Google his guitar playing. So he had an introduction tape. He couldn't be here, but it's like
the one that played on the screen when you guys were like kind of talking. I think
it was playing.
Yeah, something playing on the
while
screen
we were talking.
Yeah.
So it's rock and roll. You got to go with it. If somebody fucks up in the band, you don't turn around and look at them. You just act like nothing happened and nobody knows. Don't stop.
Don't stop.
So we kind of just roll with it. But Rita has kept Dimebag's legacy alive. She, with promoting Black Tooth Grin,
right.
The drink that we all drank with him backstage so many more times than I could ever remember, throwing up more times than I could ever remember, and having the more laughs than I could ever remember. So I think it was just timely that she got inducted for honoring what she does for the community, for the metal scene, for Dimebag's legacy, for Pantera, and it's awesome. And she's been a friend for as long as I've known her, almost as long as I've known Dime. I think we met her after touring with Pantera, coming through Dallas. We met her after, I think it was after we toured Pantera. It's irrelevant, but I've known her as almost as long as I've known Dime, and with the same amount of respect and love. So it was an honor to induct her. Well deserved. Great woman, strong woman. You know.
Rita Haney, who was here to accept on posthumously for Dimebag Darrell, who was also honored today, among Rob Baird, Cannibal Corpse, KNAC.
Rob was here too. Yeah,
KNAC. So I'm fucking proud that the name is honored and the radio station. Do you have any memories of KNAC, like of the radio station?
Yeah, I think the most, the newest one is promising to do an interview that we never did during COVID.
Oh,
I think that was what one. But KNAC was Roddy on the Rocks. It was KNAC, right? So right?
No, that was KROQ. That was K Rockett.
It wasn't KNAC.
No, it was Roddy on the Rocks.
So KNAC was probably the first station that played us.
Yeah.
Roddy on the Rocks. It was the only station because it was a lot of DJs back then would print up their show on vinyl and ship it out to other radio stations around the country. So we knew Rodney from that. But KNAC was the first station that played us in the West Coast, and I think probably the only station that played Biohazard in the West Coast. So we owe a lot of respect and love for the station. But
Yeah. I think it was around the urban discipline days, I think.
yeah, and Sailor Royal Dress, because when we were prominent here, we came out of foundations.
Yeah.
We partied with a lot of people from so a lot of great memories.
One of my first time catching you guys was with the Slayer. I might have told you this, but it was when you guys did the Slayer show with Machine Head.
Yes.
Yeah, fucking, that was my first show as a kid seeing Slayer, and then fucking Biohazard Machine. I was like,
Fucking crazy tour that.
Yeah, at the Shrine downtown. Los Angeles.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a fucking bloodbath. I remember it was a fucking riot. It was a riot. It was like
I heard it was a
stabbings.
riot, yeah.
It was fucking crazy.
Fights or some shit, because like you had your skinheads and like the Mexicanos and like it was brutal, man. But yeah, it was fucking fun.
So like I think what Biohazard did was we didn't fit in with metal bands because we were too hardcore or too punk. We didn't fit with punk bands or hardcore bands because we were too metal. So we never really fit in with anybody. And I think that people who felt like they didn't fit in with a certain scene, just I fit in with Biohazard though, because we welcomed everybody. We were in a fucking Iron Maiden and Agnostic Front, Chrome Eggs and Black Sabbath, and it all mixed, you know, and even a little being influenced by hip hop bands. But I that was an era that it was a big turn of the scene. Now you go to, like, we just played what's the festival in Sacramento? We just played it. Jesus Christ, Aftershock was amazing. First, we did all the Danny Wimmer Fest, and they were all fucking amazing. We've been playing fests in Europe for years since we were little kids, and that was a European thing. But the Danny Wimmer Fest, Aftershock, fucking Louder Than Life, all the Incarceration, all these great festivals that are all these different bands, and there's no beef, there's no problems. It's well run. Everybody gets along. Great fucking bands. We saw fucking Pantera, and we were like, "This is fucking amazing! Holy shit!" And then we went and see Slayer, who's been done, and they broke up, and the world went to shit. So to see them play again, we're like, "This is all." Now the world's better. So the world needs Slayer.
Yeah, there you go. Well said. Well said. Are you doing anything else out here for NAMM?
No, tomorrow I fly back to New York to finish the new Biohazard record.
New Biohazard, hell yeah.
New Biohazard coming 2025.
I can't wait to hear it. We'll talk more about it then too. Billy, it's always a great fucking pleasure to see you and talk to you, brother. I appreciate it. Ghost Tequila, if you want to talk about Ghost Tequila real quick, who sponsors the Metal Hall of Fame events last year and here as well. Ghost Tequila, get yourself a bottle or two or three or four.
Perfectly spicy, and it mixes with metal like fucking blood and water.
Yeah. Right. Cheers. Thanks for your time.
Filthy Phil, KNAC rocks. Trash by your favorite guy. There you go. Perfect. Brian Shock, KNAC. Dangerous Darren.
Oh, I gotta thank KNAC, like Phil right here coming in. I gotta thank KNAC for putting rock and metal like kind of on the map in like Los Angeles and like Long Beach and Southern California. You know, without you, like we wouldn't have had like the rock metal stations that like promoting all the bands that are coming out. How else do we know what's going on? All the great concerts and events that you guys used to put on. I'm like a little past. I missed that kind of era by a lot. My brother was part of that era. He was the one that brought me into that. But
well, it's spread,
Yeah, all over the world.
It's spread all over the world. Yeah.
One of my first interviews that I did was with Rob Halford, and I told my buddy as soon as we walk in the room just hit record, and he started talking about KNAC, how like no matter where in the world you are, everybody knows who KNAC is. And he was talking about, like, I'd be in Japan and somebody would have a KNAC shirt on. It's awesome.
Actually, we sold more merch in Japan than anywhere.
Yeah, it's part of our mythology now.
Oh, man. Well, tell us all, like, how you been? How's everything? Are we going this way?
Doing great. Still on the air. I'm on Sirius XM, Hair Nation, oddly enough.
Hey, man, mine's going too.
All right. It happened. But yeah, so doing that. So still on, still going. Yeah, 40 years now.
Wow,
can't believe it.
Yeah.
He can't believe it either.
No. I can't believe I still have any of this, but there soon. The great part about KNAC was that nobody was touching this music on the radio back at that time. Even stations might play a little here or there, but they weren't wrapping their arms around it. And I was living in San Diego, and a friend of mine got a hold of me, and he said, hey, there's a station up in Los Angeles, up in Long Beach. They're playing all this stuff. And I drove up to within the signal, which was like a couple blocks in the station, wasn't it?
Right.
And I heard it, and I'm like, I'm going to work there, and it happened. So, you know, dreams can come true. And now we're getting inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Yeah. Where was what was it called? Ocean. Remember the KNAC nights were the best. Red Onions and stuff. There was the one that we were talking about. Ocean. What's it called? What was the club around here?
California Dream.
California Dream. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, right.
Close.
How do you remember?
That was a good one. So those places were a blast. It's a Tuesday night, and people are just
Come out partying, rock and
you
roll.
bet on a Tuesday.
It was a formula for nightclubs where they had a down night where they made like $100 on the bar. Let our guys in for free, do dollar shots and dollar beers, and you'll do 10 grand on the bar. And it was just a slam dunk for the Red Onion, for shooters, for who else?
Toxic Underground.
Oh yeah, Fashions and Redondo Pier. Toxic Underground played there, right? Toxic Undershorts.
That's where the Toxic Undershorts started. Yeah.
Yeah, at Fashions.
I'm pretty sure that there was there were probably a lot of babies born after those.
I would think so. Yeah. You know, and I'll tell you a story about the Huntington Harbor Red Onion.
Yeah.
Back in the day when pirate radio was happening, they had this dude who drove their van. He had these thick Coke bottle glasses on, and he used to troll us a little bit. And keep in mind, the guy with the microphone is in charge. I'm not holding this one, but I'm in charge at the moment. But I was on the dance floor ready to introduce a contest, and the dude's on the sign. He's saying, "Pirate radio rules! Pirate radio rules!" So I stop for a second, and there's 400 drunk Hessians in there, and I look at the guy, I look at the Hessians, I look at the guy, I look back, I said, "Hey, you see that guy? Get him!" He took off running, and I swear that was the last time anybody ever seen him. We were in Huntington Harbor. He might be swimming with a shrimp to this day.
Sounds KNAC.
Yeah.
So real quick, we're at the Metal Hall of Fame 2025 in the city of Anaheim during NAMM Week. We're here with a lot of the great personalities from KNAC back in the day. What are some of like the events that stood out to you of like whether either concerts or like, listening parties or what? Everything that was going on, what was like some of the ones that stand out to you?
Real easy. And Darren and I were talking about this on the way down. The very start of it was interesting to say the least. Gary Price, our general manager, we were fairly close, told me the whole story. He saw 4 nights of Iron Maiden go on down at the Long Beach Arena.
Yeah.
3 more nights, where'd you say?
At the Forum.
At the Forum.
They did 7
Right
nights.
after death.
Right. Yeah. No advertising, no radio play, no nothing. And he said to his music director, program director, Jimmy Christopher, how come nobody's playing those records? Let's change this radio station from alt, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
And go heavy metal. And he said he had the meeting, announced that they were going to do this, and half the people walked out of the building right at that moment.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
They sent the PD and the music director up to Tower Records in Hollywood with a van and a credit card from the owner and bought as many vinyl albums as they could put in a shopping cart, brought them back down to Long Beach, and started that radio station the next Friday.
Amazing.
Yep.
By the way, for the record, I was there before the change, and I didn't walk out the door.
Right. Good thing. Thankfully. What would you say? Throw out some names of like probably the first couple of records that you put on.
Whitesnake.
Whitesnake. Hell yeah.
That was a big one. And then,
Well, for those about to rock, we salute you. That was the first song, right? That was the very first
Long way
song.
to rock. Long way to the top if you want to rock and
A
roll.
long way to the rock? Long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. There you go. We got to get the history correct.
Now, were you there? Were you doing mornings when Lemmy came in at like 6:30, completely drunk?
That was Jack Russell came in on me.
No,
6:30.
I got a
I
call
was
when
there
I was
with
a
Lemmy Okay, Lemmy came in. I wasn't doing mornings. I've never been so drunk in my life on the air.
Well, he showed up. Lemmy showed up one morning, because I was a program director for a while, and Lemmy showed up one morning, like 7 o'clock, and he hadn't been to sleep. And he's drunk off his ass and wants to go on the air. And it's like, we can't put this guy on the air in this shape. Or the time I saw Slash basically drink a bottle of Jack Daniels while he was in there. He doesn't drink anymore. Most people thought that they could say fuck on the radio on KNAC, like we didn't have to follow those rules. I remember at the 5th anniversary, I told you this story at our reunion, and Gene's in there. Gene and I looked at Gene. I said, "Do not swear, man. Just whatever you do, do not swear." And he literally looks me in the eye as he's doing the interview and just says, fuck. It's like, come on, man.
You can't tell him that. You can't tell him that.
Well, if he was going to say it anyway, get out of the way. Tried to. I can't believe we still had our license. The cool thing is that everybody who listened to us, nobody was going to report us, so I guess we were good.
Yeah. Mine was Lemmy. I remember Lemmy walking down the long hall, coming in, bottle of Jack, Daisy Dukes. Yeah. He's wearing those Daisy Dukes. It was the worst look ever, and then flip-flops. He comes in, sits down with me, gives me those styrofoam coffee cups is what we had at the time. Puts Jack in 2 of them. So here I am trying to go toe-to-toe with Lemmy, Jack Daniels on the air, and I'm going. And Greg, I remember Greg the next day. I went with Greg as our boss, and I walked in. I'm all hungover the next day, and he goes, "Let's not do that again." I was like, "Yeah, I won't." It was bad.
You're not going to have
I was like, what was I thinking?
I must have been feeling it days after.
But he's there. You're trying to be cool. You're hey.
You're a pro.
He was a pro. Yeah, that was a time.
But the cool thing is, you ask anybody about their Lemmy story, it's, I saw Lemmy had his flip-flops, Daisy Dukes, wife beater, and a bottle of Jack.
Yeah.
Every time.
So when you guys happen to run into like other people that experience KNAC, like it must be a good feeling to understand that like you reached a lot of lives, not just like locally, but like all over the world. Like I was saying, like in Japan and like all the success. Do you remember a story somebody told you about like, oh, when I first listened to KNAC, like how they took it in?
To me, it's like we were all friends. Everybody was friends. If we saw somebody with a KNAC shirt on, it was like that was your bud. You knew what you had in common, or a KNAC sticker on their car. You were good to go. So you were just like instant. It was just an instant friendship. There, you had that huge part of your life in common. So that was a big part of it.
We were a total social network before there was such a thing.
Yeah, you actually socialize around.
It's quite true.
Hell yeah. So, how would you compare the scene back in the day to what it is now? Simple, straight up. Besides a huge difference, but like, how do you see it?
I don't think it's.
You were there, and it's like, hey,
I don't know. I'm looking around and I see flashbacks.
Yeah.
Or wait, those were push-ups.
Yeah.
No, I'm seeing just a lot of the same people. It seems just add 20 years to them.
Yeah.
And it's
20.
Yeah, it's only 20, but
Speak for yourself.
the radio scene definitely is different. I don't know if you could do this again. I mean, KNAC really should not have worked with the antenna that we had. It just none of it made any business sense. But then somehow it was magical.
Yeah.
Somehow it happened. There was just it was destiny.
Yeah, you did.
I wasn't the only one who drove within the range of the signal to me.
Oh, here's something. It just reminded me. I was driving out like Santa Clarita area. I forgot which client I was going to see, but because I sold advertising as well, and maybe it was Saugus Speedway. It probably was Saugus Speedway, and I was driving out there, and 105.5, the way FM works, it just kind of one ends and the other starts. Like AM will overlap, but FM, the signals, when you get out of the signal range, it stops and the other one starts. And I got out into that Santa Clarita Valley area, and there was this epic battle between Ozzy and Amy Grant. The signal was coming in and out from KNAC to some Christian radio station out in the Santa Clarita Valley, and it was great. It was going back and forth. And anyway, Ozzy ended up winning.
Darren, let's see if you remember this. One of the things that I did when I came to KNAC is I loved Pantera, and their first record, record on Atlantic was coming out.
Yeah.
And I took you to that show.
You did.
Where was that?
It was Bogarts.
Okay.
Was it Bogarts?
I think it was.
That was a place, right?
Wow. Yeah.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Let's go with Bogarts.
And there were maybe 70, 75 people in that room. And I remember saying to you, dude, you're going to get blown away by this band.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I freaked out.
Damn. It's like a peek in your mind right there.
Yeah.
That was the fun. That was the kind of fun thing that we did with the station, is finding bands like that that you just knew were going to explode, and being at the forefront of it. And I remember distinctly you and I being there, and me telling you, dude, you got to see this band.
Yeah.
Your one show's almost over by now.
I don't know. That's definitely like on the late nights when they play the heavier stuff. It's like it also opened my mind, opened my ears up to like heavier bands too. Man.
Sure. Manic Metal.
Manic Metal.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember doing that.
Was that Monday nights?
Monday nights. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I wanted to tell you guys, I'm so honored to be in front of you guys, talking to you guys. I've been writing for KNAC.com for close to 10 years now. Thanks to Larry, great guy, and I know he wishes he could be here and talk to you all guys. I don't know if you guys got to meet him in person or ever talked to him, but he's been helping keep KNAC alive, and I've been like trying to wave that flag too because of my brother, and like we were kids like growing up, and that's all we had, you know, and we still don't have that. Like, I mean, KLOS is not really like cutting it, but we wish we had KNAC.
I noticed how you whispered it because Stu was back there.
I know. No, I know. But even though he's a DJ, like, no, it's okay, man. Much love, Stu. Much respect, you know.
Hey, thanks. It's great to meet you. Thanks. Go.